On the day we were supposed to get our marriage license, my boyfriend and I were stopped by a woman right outside the county clerk's office. She held a baby in her arms. The infant's face was flushed bright red, and its cries were faint and weak. The woman looked at my fiancé through tear-streaked cheeks. "Ethan, the baby's sick. I'm so scared." Ethan's face fell. He shoved me aside roughly and hurried her to his car, driving straight for the hospital. I couldn't stop them in time. I could only stand there and watch them drive away. By the time I got home, Ethan called. "Amelia, I don't want to lie to you anymore. I never liked you. I love Chloe. Let's break up." I didn't beg or cling. I said yes, calm and collected. Then I called my grandpa. "Grandpa, Ethan and I broke up. Pull all the funding and support you've given him." "All right, whatever you say." "Sweetie." Grandpa's voice was full of worry on the other end. "Amelia, why the sudden breakup? Did that boy treat you badly? Tell me, and I'll make him pay." Something felt lodged tight in my chest, heavy and bitter. "I'm fine, Grandpa. I can handle this. I'll come home to see you in a couple days." I hung up quickly, afraid he'd hear the crack in my voice. I looked down at the phone in my hand, Ethan's second phone, which I'd found by accident while packing up my things. Ethan was a painter. We'd been together 5 years, and he'd never once painted me. He always said he hated painting portraits and hated being too close to people. But this phone was full of portraits he'd drawn of that woman from this morning. Some of her smiling, some of her pouting playfully. Each drawing was dated in the bottom right corner, from the first to the last. They spanned exactly the 5 years we'd been dating. All the while I was negotiating deals for him over dinner, building his studio from the ground up, organizing exhibition after exhibition, and growing that small studio into a full company. He'd been living a sweet, perfect life with another woman. I finally understood. It wasn't that he hated portraits, or that he was emotionally reserved. He just didn't want to paint me, didn't want to be close to me. Maybe I was too heartbroken to cry. After scrolling through every last drawing on Ethan's phone, not a single tear fell. I set the phone down and kept packing. Mabel, our housekeeper, looked confused. "Miss Amelia, weren't you two getting your license today? Where's Mr. Voss? Why are you back alone?" "Mabel, Ethan and I broke up." Mabel stared at me in disbelief. She took my hand, her voice earnest and heavy. "Miss Amelia, I've seen everything you've done for this household. You stuck by him through all the hard years, and now he's finally famous. How can you walk away now? This isn't smart. It's foolish." My face went pale. Before I could reply, laughter and cheerful voices drifted up from downstairs. Ethan was home. His long trench coat was draped over the shoulders of a petite woman holding a baby, while he carried armfuls of baby supplies. They looked like a perfect, happy little family. Mabel froze on the spot. I'd never seen Ethan look so tender. A sharp twinge hit my chest, and I couldn't help but stare at the woman beside him. I knew exactly who she was. Chloe Bennett, Ethan's first love, the woman who'd left for another country when he was at his lowest. After all the twists and turns, they'd found their way back to each other. Ethan froze for a split second when he saw me, then his brows furrowed. He looked surprised to find me here. Chloe looked at me, her eyes rimmed with red. "Miss Hale, I'm so sorry for stopping you two outside the clerk's office this morning, and for making Ethan take me to the hospital. The baby's okay now, so I rushed right over to apologize. I hope you're not angry." My fingers tightened around the handle of my suitcase. "How thoughtful of you. The baby's barely better. And you already hurried all the way over here to say sorry." Chloe's face went pale. She looked at Ethan helplessly, like she didn't know what to do. Ethan's expression darkened instantly, his voice low and sharp. "Amelia, cut the sarcasm. If you're mad, take it out on me. I'm the one who stood you up, who cheated on you. This has nothing to do with Chloe. She's still weak from taking care of the baby. She can't handle cruel remarks. Watch your tone." So he was capable of caring about someone. Suddenly it felt like someone had split my chest open, and an endless cold wind was rushing through the hole. Chloe gave Ethan a gentle nudge. "Ethan, don't be so harsh. Be nice to her." Then she looked at me with that fragile, pitiful look, holding the baby tighter. "I'm sorry. You know, Ethan's usually such a gentle person. He just gets worked up and unreasonable when it comes to me." "No, Ethan had always been cold and distant with me. Gentle was never a word I'd use for him. The only time he'd ever been kind was back in college, when he'd saved me from a mugger. That one time had been enough. I'd fallen for him hard, and chased after him for so long. I'd always thought my love could melt his icy exterior. Then his new painting won an award, and he'd proposed. He said he'd never waste the 5 years I'd spent building a life with him, that he'd give me everything I'd ever wanted. I'd thought the hard days were over, that the ice had finally melted for me. I never realized he was never an iceberg at all. He'd always been someone else's Prince Charming. I let out a bitter, self-mocking laugh. I couldn't figure out what I'd been clinging to all these 5 years. Chloe spoke up. Miss Hale, Ethan and I already have a child. Love isn't about who came first. It only works when two people truly love each other. Since things have come this far, please step aside. Give him back to me, won't you? My baby can't grow up without a father. Ethan wrapped an arm around her waist. You don't have to apologize. This is all on me. He looked at me. There was a flicker of guilt, but far more cold resolve. Amelia, proposing to you was impulsive. I owed you so much. I thought marriage would make up for it. I thought I could make it work, but the second Chloe came back, I knew I didn't want anyone but her. Chloe's eyes glistened as she gazed back at him, full of love. In that moment, my heart shattered completely. Raw and bleeding, I laughed. Have you only just met me? We've known each other 10 years, dated for 5, and you're only just now realizing you can't make it work. Mabel, who'd been silent this whole time, finally snapped. You two are absolutely shameless. Mr. Voss. Miss Amelia spent 5 years building this life with you. 5 of the best years of her life. She ate takeout with you every night, negotiated your deals, built your company from nothing. She worked herself to the bone, up before dawn and up long after dark. You cheat on her. And then you act like none of it even mattered. Where was all this can't make it work talk when you needed her? Oh, now that you're rich, you think you can trade up. You're disgusting. Treating a girl who loved you like this, you'll get what's coming to you. Ethan and Chloe both paled at her words. Ethan snapped coldly. You have no right to speak. This is between Amelia and me. Stay out of it. Mabel scoffed. Mr. Voss, I really had you wrong. Let's see how far you get without Miss Amelia holding you up. Ethan's face turned livid. He threw Mabel out, then turned his sharp gaze on me. Amelia, is that what you think too? That I can't make it without you? You helped me a lot. Sure, but I can still put on shows. I can still win awards. With or without you. Is that so? His company had been propped up secretly by Hale family money, all arranged by me. I'd poured my blood, sweat and tears into landing him contract after contract. He had some nerve. I wanted to see exactly how his company would run without me. I unclenched my fists, holding back the tears that threatened to spill, and looked him dead in the eye. Fine, have it your way. The engagement's off. Ethan laughed bitterly. No trace of remorse on his handsome face. You're the one calling it off. Then don't overstay your welcome. Get out of my house, now. Chloe looked at me with fake sympathy. Ethan, it's so late. Where will she go if you throw her out now? Ethan held her close, his voice soft as he comforted her. How should I know? Some orphan with no family, and she dares to snap at me. If some charity case hadn't taken pity on her, she'd probably be begging on the streets right now. It was true. I'd known Ethan 10 years, before the Hale family found me. I'd bounced from foster home to foster home, an orphan with no roots. We'd been classmates since high school, never close but always in the same orbit. Then in college, he'd stepped in to help me. I'd thought after all these years, even if we weren't lovers, we'd at least be family. Or friends. I never imagined that to him. I was nothing at all. Chloe looked at me apologetically, but didn't back down an inch. Find a nice hotel and get some rest, no matter how much Ethan dislikes you. I do feel like I owe you something. Ethan and I are getting married in a month. Would you come and wish us well? I'd really love to have your blessing. I couldn't believe she had the nerve to ask me to their wedding. To watch them be happy. This wasn't just a slap in the face. It was humiliation. Is that right? Congratulations. Then, guess you finally got the promotion. She can come or not. Whatever. Chloe. You don't have to beg her. Ethan hated seeing her humble herself to me. He shot me a cold glance. Amelia. You're poor, you're ordinary, you don't even have parents. I could never actually marry some orphan who doesn't belong. You're not in my league. Stop wasting your time on me. He acted like he was terrified I'd cling to him. Like I was some pest who'd never let go. My heart had already died the second I got his phone call. It had shattered piece by piece with every insult he'd thrown my way. Now I was finally over it. I just wanted to laugh at my own stupid, one-sided love. Ethan stared down at me from his high horse. Amelia. You were with me 5 years. I don't want to be cruel. I'll give you $10,000 considerate severance for 5 years. Hurry up and pack, and get out. By the time I come back. I hope you're gone. Don't make me throw you out myself. I dragged my suitcase out into the cold. The sharp winter wind stung my face, and suddenly everything felt crystal clear. I called Grandpa again. Grandpa. Announce the end of all Hale Corporation partnerships with Ethan's company on his wedding day, 1 month from now. Consider it my wedding gift. Just then, a sleek black luxury car pulled up right in front of me. A tall, handsome man got out and walked quickly toward me. When I saw him, my eyes burned red with tears. Lucas. His jaw was tight. He draped his black overcoat over my shoulders first, then brushed the tears from my cheeks. His face was dark with anger, but his deep voice held a soft edge. Don't be sad. He's just a worthless cheater. I'll make him get on his knees and beg for your forgiveness. He put his arm around me and led me to the car. He even handed me a hot water bottle. Thoughtful as always. Warm up. Don't catch a cold. His thoughtfulness made me thank him almost automatically. Soon, he brought me back to the Hale estate. The second I stepped through the front door, Grandpa hurried over to meet me, his face full of love and relief. Amelia. My sweet girl, you're finally home. The crack in his voice twisted my heart. Before the Hales found me, I'd been a foster kid, bouncing from home to home with nowhere to belong. Once they took me in, I became the one and only heiress of the Hale family. The man beside me was the son the Hales had adopted after I'd gone missing. For 5 years, I'd stayed away from home for Ethan. All that time, Lucas had run the family business and taken care of Grandpa. I was overcome with guilt. Grandpa, I'm sorry I took so long to come back. From now on, I'll listen to you. I promise. All that matters is that you're okay. Grandpa truly did love me and worry about me. He'd had my room cleaned regularly. It looked exactly the way I'd left it. When he heard I was coming home, he'd filled it with designer bags, clothes, shoes, and jewelry. I had no interest in any of it. All I could think about was how to make Ethan pay dearly for what he'd done. Just then, a notification popped up on my phone. Wedding on the 9th next month. Everyone's welcome to come. It was from our old class group chat. The sender was none other than Ethan, the man who'd left his own engagement to run off with another woman and her baby, who'd been cheating on me for 5 whole years. He didn't just send a message, he'd attached their wedding photos too. Wow, you two make such a perfect couple. I'll definitely be there. Wishing you both a long and happy marriage, and a house full of kids. Chloe and I already have our baby boy. Ethan sent back. This was our class group chat. Everyone there knew I'd dated Ethan for 5 years, but not a single person called him out. They all just wished him happiness. They were all just sucking up to him now that he was famous. What I never expected was that they'd turn on me. To curry his favor, someone tagged me. Why are you still in this group? Lurking around like some creep. Aren't you embarrassed? She spent 5 years waiting on our great artist like a maid. Why would she know what embarrassment feels like? Love is love. Pity is pity. Amelia. Get it through your head. If you do, then do the right thing and get lost. Don't be mean to her. She worked hard for Ethan for 5 years. It wasn't easy. A user named Chloe sent the message. There she went again, putting on her little innocent act. She sent a digital invitation. Amelia took such good care of Ethan these past 5 years. I'm grateful. You have to come to the wedding. I want to thank you properly. She'd tagged me too. She was cozy with Ethan, had his baby. And yet she said the cruelest things in the softest voice. Before I could even type a reply, a horde of bootlickers jumped in to agree. She really took that way to a man's heart is through his stomach thing way too seriously. Relationships aren't about mothering the guy. It's Ethan's big day. Why let Amelia ruin it by hanging around? Right after that message, I was kicked out of the group chat. It was almost funny. They all called him a great artist. And Ethan had really started to believe it. Being kicked out didn't bother me. Their words didn't bother me. But I did wonder how those bootlickers would react when they found out they'd been kissing up to the wrong person. When we first got together, Ethan had been just a broke kid with a paintbrush. I'd given him my heart, worked my fingers to the bone for him, even begged Grandpa to pull Hale family strings to build him up, all behind the scenes. When they saw Ethan succeeding, those same classmates had invested in his company. Back then I'd thought, we're all old friends, if I can help them make money too, why not? Now, there was no point in being nice. I gripped my phone. A perfect plan was already forming in my head. There was a soft knock at the door. It was Lucas. Amelia, can I come in? Lucas was always so gentle and polite. I walked over and opened the door. He was holding a glass of milk. And he smiled softly when he saw me. Milk's good for you. Ever since I'd come back to the Hale family, he'd doted on me like his own little sister. Endlessly kind and patient. You didn't have to get me all those things. Grandpa was generous. But even he wouldn't have bought that much designer stuff on his own. You're finally home. As your brother, of course I had to welcome you back properly. He even pulled out a black card and handed it to me. Buy whatever you want. Lucas was so kind. So generous. I didn't know what to do with it all. No, I love everything. It's just so much. You deserve all of it and more. And as for him, I'm going to make him cry. The smile faded from Lucas's face when he said it. I saw a flash of cold, ruthless anger in his eyes. 3 hours later, Ethan called me. He was furious. Amelia, you're despicable. I had no idea what had happened, but hearing him this angry sent a thrill of satisfaction through me. Oh, tell me, how am I despicable? Ethan's voice was tight with rage. You dare ask me? If it wasn't for you, why would the Golden Palette Prize suddenly drop me as a judge? A week prior, Ethan had been invited to judge a major painting competition. It was a huge opportunity for him. You and Chloe are just a cheating, low-life pair. The Golden Palette doesn't want anything to do with people like you. I'd rendered him speechless. Finally, he snapped, humiliated and angry. Amelia, you stabbed me in the back. There's no way you're staying at the company. He wanted to kick me out. I scoffed coldly. And how much do you plan to pay for my 20 stake? I'd put money, work, and all my connections into this company. Some shares belonged to other investors. I'd originally held 40, but because I loved him, I'd given him 20 of mine. Ethan really thought he'd made it on his own. He'd forgotten where he came from. He didn't take me seriously at all. No one else is going to buy your shares except me. I'll give you 500,000. And don't bother me ever again. 5 years of my life. And he thought 500,000 would make it all go away. Now I saw exactly who he was. 500,000 to brush me off. You're delusional. Ethan sounded annoyed. What? You want me to take you back? Amelia, you think you gave me your heart and soul for 5 years, but all that stuff. It was a chain around my neck. It suffocated me. Let me tell you, that wasn't love. That was control. Stop using all that help to guilt trip me. I got the Hale family's attention because of my own talent, and I'm getting married soon. What are you even still hanging around the company for? He was just lashing out because he was embarrassed. I laughed instead of getting angry. I'm a shareholder. Why do you think I'm here? If you want to buy me out, it's 200 million. Wire the money. And I'm gone. I'd run the company for 5 years. I knew exactly how much was in the bank. I was asking for an outrageous sum, and it wasn't because I wanted him to beg and take me back. I just wanted to get under his skin, to make him miserable. Otherwise, these 5 years would have been for nothing. Ethan exploded with rage. 200 million. Only some trashy, low-class orphan would dare ask for that. Even though he wasn't in front of me, I could picture the vicious look in his eyes. Like he wanted to kill me. This was who Ethan really was. I didn't rise to it. If I'm low-class trash, then what does that make you? A backstabbing, ungrateful animal. With that, I hung up and blocked his number. Ethan was too busy taking care of Chloe and their baby to come looking for me. And even if he tried, he'd never find me. That whole month, Lucas stayed by my side. He brought me into Hale Corporation. And I worked on deals with him. He took me on business trips, on trips just for fun. He gave me gift after gift. That month, the city was buzzing with rumors about the Hale heiress and the adopted Hale heir, seen everywhere together. Side by side in business and in public. The media tried to get a photo of my face, but no one succeeded. I was happier than I'd ever been. Losing Ethan didn't hurt at all anymore. Soon enough, the wedding day arrived. Ethan really did love Chloe. He'd booked the city's only 6-star luxury hotel, bought out the whole venue, even gotten her a custom haute couture wedding dress. He'd invited all the city's business elite, plus all their old classmates and friends. Chloe had sent me a physical invitation, but I hadn't even glanced at it. Still, I showed up today. I didn't expect to be stopped at the front door by Jake. Jake was Ethan's college friend and an employee at his company. He looked at me with pure disdain. "Amelia, what are you doing here? Ruining Ethan's big day. And you're wearing knockoffs. Have you no shame?" After chewing me out, he reached out to shove me away. "Get out of here. Go on, beat it." "Jake, have you forgotten how you got where you are today?" I narrowed my eyes, staring him down coldly. He froze mid-motion. I could see him remembering. I didn't feel like airing all his dirty laundry. What I didn't expect was for Ethan to spot me and march straight over. He looked down his nose at me, his eyes sharp and cold. "Amelia, don't make me throw you out on my wedding day." The difference between love and indifference was staggering. On our supposed wedding day, he'd left me standing alone outside the clerk's office, for everyone to stare at. But at his wedding to Chloe, he cared so much about keeping the scene perfect. I smiled, calm and easy. "Ethan, if you throw me out now, you'll regret it." I wasn't here as the jilted ex, here to crash the wedding. Ethan laughed like I'd told the funniest joke he'd ever heard. "Regret it? The only thing I regret is wasting 5 years settling for you." "Security, throw her out." At his order, several tall men in black suits started toward me. I didn't move, just as they reached for me. "Who dares touch her?" A low, icy voice cut through the crowd, getting closer with every word. I turned around. Lucas was walking toward me, supporting Grandpa by the arm. Lucas wore a smoke gray dress shirt. At 6'3", he stood tall and imposing, like a mountain. His sharp, chiseled features were framed by wire-rimmed gold glasses. Behind the lenses, his gaze was cold and sharp as a blade. All the bravado drained right out of Ethan. "Mr. Hale. Mr. Hale Sr. What an honor. Please, right this way." He turned into a groveling sycophant instantly, speaking to them with the utmost respect. Lucas and Grandpa didn't even glance at him. Grandpa took my hand. "Amelia, what have I always told you? Don't be too nice when you're out in the world." If I heard correctly, Mr. Voss here was about to throw my granddaughter out. Lucas's lips curled slowly. His dark eyes pinned Ethan in place. Ethan looked at me, then back at Lucas and Grandpa. When the realization hit, he dropped to his knees with a thud. "Mr. Hale. No, I didn't know she was your sister. I had no idea Amelia was." It was true, he really hadn't known. I could confirm that. 5 years together. And I'd never told him who I really was, mostly because of all those foster homes. Every time a family had their own kid, they'd pushed me aside, or the father would get too close, too interested. When the Hales found me, I'd spent months convinced it wasn't real. And then there was Lucas, so perfect, so capable. I'd felt inferior. Then I'd fallen for Ethan. Grandpa hadn't approved. To be with Ethan, I'd left the Hale family. And once I'd left, I'd hated asking for anything but for Ethan's career. I'd swallowed my pride and begged Grandpa for help. Grandpa had only agreed because he couldn't bear to see me hurt. Grandpa didn't care about Ethan's excuses. "An ungrateful man like you doesn't deserve a cent from the Hale family. Lucas, pull all funding, blacklist him, entirely." Ethan went pale. He crawled toward me on his knees like a dog. "No, Amelia, please, for old time's sake, beg your grandpa, don't let him pull the funding." Hale Corporation was his biggest investor. If they pulled out, his company would collapse overnight. And Grandpa had said blacklist. That meant not just his company, Ethan himself would never work in this city again. I almost laughed. "Now you're begging me. Didn't I tell you you'd regret it?" There was nothing left for me to feel for a cheater like him. He'd never treated me like a person. Why should I let him keep everything I'd built for him? Ethan tried to reach for me, to beg one more time, but he never got close. That month, I'd started taking taekwondo lessons. The second his hand stretched toward me, I kicked him away hard. In less than 2 minutes, Ethan's company was declared bankrupt. And news broke that his award-winning paintings were plagiarized. The classmates who'd invested swarmed him the second they saw he was ruined. Ethan, I want my investment back. You have 3 days. And mine. If you don't pay us back, we'll make you pay. We'll take every last thing you have until we get our money. Ethan had thought he was on top of the world. In the end, it had all been nothing but a fleeting pipe dream. I watched, amused. Then Lucas stepped up beside me. It gets better. Lucas tossed a stack of documents down in front of Ethan. When Ethan read what was on them, his hands started shaking uncontrollably. How is this possible? All the color drained from his face. The next second, he ran toward Chloe like a man possessed. Chloe was holding their baby boy. When she saw Ethan coming, she instinctively stepped back. Ethan, don't you dare lose it on me. I'm not going to live some poor, miserable life with you like Amelia did. So, you only ever wanted me for my money. You even lied about the baby to trick me. Ethan's eyes were dead, hollow. What are you talking about? Chloe's eyes darted away. Guilty. But the next second, Ethan ripped the baby out of her arms. He'd truly lost his mind. He killed his own infant son, right there in front of everyone. Chloe let out a scream of utter despair. Know me, baby. Ethan, you monster. Ethan laughed coldly. I'm the monster. You're the monster. Chloe, you only wanted me for my money. Was this even my baby? In that moment, I understood. The wedding had descended into chaos, a screaming fight that ended in tragedy for them both. But I wasn't going to let Ethan die. I wanted him to live, to suffer every single day, begging for death and never getting it. I had someone call an ambulance and rush Ethan to the hospital. After more than 10 hours in the ER, Ethan survived. But Chloe and the baby didn't. Ethan was convicted of murder and sentenced to death with a 2-year reprieve due to his severe injuries. But those 2 years wouldn't be easy for him. As he slowly healed, new injuries kept appearing. And his elderly parents, they were paying for his mistakes now. The investors couldn't get to Ethan, so they went after his parents, trashing their home, harassing them. The police could barely do anything. In the end, his old parents had to work multiple jobs just to get by. When Ethan saw me again, he fell to his knees. Miss Hale, I know I was wrong. Please, leave my parents alone. Just kill me. Make it quick. People who want to die are people who've lost everything. Ethan had thrown away 5 years of my life like it was nothing. Treated me like a maid the whole time. If I hadn't been the Hale heiress, if I didn't have Lucas and Grandpa behind me, he couldn't buy my shares for pennies. He would have wanted me dead. I knew it. If he was angry enough to kill a month-old baby, he'd have no problem killing the ex he'd tossed aside, the woman who'd become his worst enemy. I looked him dead in the eye and said, you don't deserve a quick death. I'd keep tabs on him, but I'd never go see him again. From now on, I was going to get back the life I'd put on hold. I'd study finance. I'd run Hale Corporation. I learned. I grew, one step at a time. I was happy now, thriving on my own. What I never expected was that Lucas would hand over all his company shares to me, and even offer to be my personal assistant. Amelia, I'll mentor you, show you the ropes. When he said it, his assistant took the hint and left the office right away. Suddenly it was just the two of us. The way Lucas looked at me then was so soft, so earnest. After I left the Hale family, Lucas had held down the fort for 5 years. No, it had been more like 20, almost 30 years. All told, he'd taken care of Grandpa, too, and now he wanted to teach me, to help me. Lucas had never said he loved me, but everything he did screamed it. But I'd given up on love. I turned him down. Of course, I don't plan to run Hale Corporation anytime soon. I'm going abroad to study. I want to travel, see the world, all the beautiful places I've missed. What I never saw coming was Ethan escaping from custody. He blocked my path, holding a huge bouquet of roses, his voice groveling and desperate. Amelia, please forgive me. I'll be your dog. Anything. for the 5 years we had together. Give me another chance, please. His eyes were red and raw. He looked utterly broken. A cruel curiosity sparked in me. How far would you go for me? Escaping was a death sentence for him, but I didn't want him dead yet. I wanted to play with him a little first. Ethan barked like a dog right there in front of me. He actually got down on all fours, acting like an animal. When Lucas found out Ethan was near me again, his eyes went dark with rage. He kissed me hard, rough and desperate, like he was crazy. I shoved him away hard and slapped him across the face. Lucas, have you lost your mind? I don't have feelings for Ethan anymore. I'm just toying with him. He was just doing to me now what I'd done for him for 5 years, begging, groveling, debasing himself. I felt nothing. Looking at him was like looking at my own stupid, humiliated self from those 5 years. Ethan heard every word. He flew at me in a rage, ready to take me down with him, but he was no match for Lucas. Lucas was going to hand him over to the police, but I stopped him. Send him to the psych ward. Sometimes living is worse than dying. Lucas did as I said, and had Ethan committed. At first, Ethan screamed that he wasn't crazy. In the end, he really did lose his mind. His arms and legs were ruined. He was paralyzed, trapped in his own body like a corpse. As for me, I left the country to study abroad. The second I stepped onto the plane, I saw Lucas sitting in the seat right next to mine. He held a business newspaper in his hand, his long, elegant fingers folded around the pages. When he saw me, he smiled that soft, warm smile. Grandpa booked the seat for me, said I should come along. Is that right? Whether Grandpa had booked it or he'd done it himself, it didn't matter. The plane was about to take off. I couldn't get off now. I looked at him, and I couldn't help but smile. Maybe this trip wouldn't be so bad after all. Hey there, could you rate this story in the comments? Use a scale of 1 to 10. Please, I am begging you. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit follow.